Hello everyone, today we are revealing shocking news. The Chinese Communist Party's People's Liberation Army had actually already finished its war preparations for Taiwan by the end of 2025. They had also completed all assessments. So under what conditions will a real conflict break out across the Taiwan Strait? What will be the final triggers? Today, we will discuss these issues. Recently, Bloomberg released exclusive news. It says that the U.S. Asia Command submitted a 121-page report to Congress. The report states that the People's Liberation Army is going through historic expansion across all domains. They are training around two main tasks. First, forcing Taiwan unification. Second, countering U.S. and allied defense capabilities. Their goal is military readiness by 2027. To deal with the CCP's expansion and preparations to attack Taiwan, the U.S. military is seeking new funds to strengthen deterrence capability. In fact, as early as 5 months ago, former CCP official Du Wen revealed on his show the assessment targets set by Xi Jinping for the PLA to complete combat training and preparations for attacking Taiwan. Du Wen received internal information covering 6 areas. First, since Xi Jinping took power, he has gradually pushed the entire army to prepare for Taiwan. According to his orders, all PLA units must make Taiwan combat plans. Their training includes 2 major parts. One part is joint land, sea, air, and space operations against Taiwan, including landing battles and street fighting. The other part is to counter possible intervention by the U.S. military, Japan, Australia, and others. This is called denial operations or anti-intervention operations. All PLA units must carry out targeted training based on their plans and tasks. They must pass assessment. Originally, the deadline to submit and pass was the end of 2026. But in September 2024, Xi Jinping ordered to move it forward to the end of 2025. So, by the end of 2025, all PLA services and theater commands had completed their Taiwan war preparation. Second, the PLA combat readiness duty system has been fully adjusted. This is one result of the military reforms. All major positions in every unit now rotate, 1/3 on duty, 1/3 on standby, and 1/3 resting. Internal assessments show that for the PLA, there is almost no difference anymore between peacetime and wartime. They can fight at any moment. This is very important information. Third, political mobilization and psychological counseling across the entire army are complete. Psychological assessments for Air Force pilots and Rocket Force operators have all finished. The main goal is to remove fear of the U.S. military and build determination and confidence to fight and win. Du Wen said that the big story in 2025 about Pakistan using Chinese J-10 fighters to shoot down India's Rafale jets was part of this psychological preparation. Du Wen said even though the story itself was not reliable, it helped PLA pilots overcome fear of US and Western equipment. Du Wen also said that PLA pilots are not at the same level as US, NATO, Ukrainian, or Russian forces. All they can do is to take off and land safely and fly straight. They lack real combat training and experience. Also, every PLA officer has an app called Strong Enemy Map on their phone. It contains U.S. military branch emblems, flags, deployment locations, main equipment, organization sizes, combat capabilities, photos of key officers, their ranks, birth dates, family members, hobbies, and even home addresses. This helps PLA officers understand the U.S. military better and reduces fear. The fourth piece is a rumor, not from Du Wen's military sources. It says that former CCP Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia, He Weidong, and Central Military Commission member Liu Zhenli and other professional soldiers who have been arrested all believed that the timing was not yet mature for taking military action against Taiwan. The reason was the performance of PLA equipment was unstable. They also believed that Taiwan's defense capability should not be underestimated. Xi Jinping was very angry. He said, "Why is the Chinese army called the People's Liberation Army? Because Taiwan has not been liberated yet. Liberating Taiwan is the duty of Chinese soldiers and my mission as Xi Jinping. It must be completed. 2027 is the PLA's 100th anniversary. We should have the ability to finish this task." The fifth messages come directly from Wang Bo, former Deputy Secretary of the Inner Mongolia People's Congress Standing Committee. Wang Bo told Du Wen that he learned from a Politburo Standing Committee member during the CCP's 19th Party Congress. At a Politburo meeting, Xi Jinping spoke about the succession issue. He said, "Some comrades wanted me to follow the rules since reform and opening up, step down at the right time, and even hoped I would retire early. But let me tell you, liberating Taiwan is the historic mission entrusted to me by the party and the people. If we can liberate Taiwan today, I will retire tomorrow and hand over the position of General Secretary to younger people." Judging from these remarks, Xi Jinping's political determination to so-called recover Taiwan is very strong. It is also a huge excuse for him not to step down. Other sources confirm that taking Taiwan is a condition for his continued rule, so the Taiwan issue must be solved. Sixth, the Russia-Ukraine war gave Xi Jinping confidence to use force against Taiwan. Xi Jinping believes that China is dozens of times stronger than Russia. If Russia can withstand international sanctions, then China can certainly do so as well. Xi Jinping believes that as long as he has nuclear weapons in hand, the security of the regime will not be a problem. He believes this would be a war that will not be lost. Even if he cannot win, he can still negotiate. Whatever he can take, he will take. He believes that China's foundation is strong enough to withstand a long war, and the CCP can handle it much better than Russia. This is Xi Jinping's judgment. These are the 4 pieces of information from Duwen. The recent U.S. military report to Congress says 2027 is important for 3 reasons. First, it is the PLA's 100th anniversary. Second, Xi Jinping has clearly set the goal of building a strong army by its 100th anniversary. Third, 2027 is a key point in the later part of Xi Jinping's 3rd term. By then, he will be deep into long-term rule. He needs to prove that he can complete the so-called national rejuvenation mission. In the CCP's narrative, the Taiwan issue is the final symbol of national rejuvenation. From inside China, the Taiwan issue is no longer just a foreign affairs problem. It has become a question for regime legitimacy. The CCP's legitimacy has limited sources. It has no real elections, no constitutional foundation, and no independent judiciary. For decades, it relies on 3 narratives: economic growth, nationalism, and party-state security. Now, the first one is seriously declining. China's economy is going down. Local debt crisis, youth unemployment, a real estate collapse, foreign capital leaving, and private enterprise confidence destroyed. All this weakened the CCP's legitimacy. When economic legitimacy falls, the CCP relies more on nationalism. And the Taiwan issue is exactly the most central, most dangerous, and easiest to activate issue in the CCP's nationalist narrative. Inside the CCP, the Taiwan issue has already been shaped into an issue that cannot fall, cannot retreat, and cannot be delayed forever. If Xi Jinping keeps shouting about national unification but makes no progress on Taiwan, his authorities in the party, military, and nationalist public opinion will be eroded. Therefore, the risk in the Taiwan Strait is not because the CCP is rational and thinks war is worthwhile. It is because in the CCP's political structure, the Taiwan issue has changed from a strategic choice into a political date. When the economy keeps declining, launching an external war to shift internal crisis and consume young labor makes complete historic sense. In democratic countries, starting a war requires consideration of many factors. These include voters' opinions, the impact on national economy and military casualties, etc. But in the CCP system, major decisions are highly centralized with the top leader. If Xi Jinping thinks war helps consolidate his power and confirm his historic status, he will do it. Dictators' decision-making is completely different from normal countries. Never use normal country thinking to judge a dictator's irrational decisions. For the CCP and Xi Jinping, the core logic is not maximizing national interest, but maximizing the CCP's political security or the ruler's own interests. As long as Xi Jinping thinks Taiwan relates to CCP regime security and his personal historic status, he will package high risks as strategic opportunities. Possible reasons Xi might take risks include: first, a deepening economic crisis needs nationalism to shift internal pressure. Second, among the younger generation inside the PLA, there are many radicals and opportunists. After long-term purges in the military, Xi may need a war to test the loyalty of the army. Third, Xi Jinping may believe that America is divided internally and may not want to pay a huge price for Taiwan. Aid to Ukraine and Iran has emptied U.S. weapon stocks, so America may be powerless on Taiwan. Fourth, Xi may believe that Taiwanese society is not united enough and there are many traitors. He may believe he can use deterrence to crush Taiwan's will to resist. Then pro-CCP traitors in Taiwan could take the chance to rise to power, seize the government, and handle the regime over to the CCP. This would also be a very good option for the CCP. Fifth, he may believe that historic status must be completed through the Taiwan issue. Du Wen's judgment is that the CCP is really preparing to use force against Taiwan. But whether war really starts depends on Xi Jinping's comprehensive judgment on domestic crisis, U.S. will, Taiwan's resistance ability, and the international environment. He must especially consider whether the PLA's command system is complete. For Taiwan, the biggest danger is not war itself, but miscalculation. The greatest risk in the Taiwan Strait is misjudgment by all sides. Xi may misjudge Taiwan people's will to resist, thinking they will surrender quickly. He may misjudge U.S. intervention, Japan involvement, whether Chinese society can bear the cost of war, and the PLA's real combat ability. He may overestimate PLA capabilities because he only hears praise. Taiwan may also misjudge, thinking the CCP is only shouting slogans and won't act. America may misjudge, thinking deterrence is enough without clearer wartime readiness statements. The international community may misjudge, thinking the Taiwan Strait crisis is only a regional issue, not a global order issue. So if misjudgments from all sides end up, war may happen. This would not be because of one side's careful plan. It could happen because deterrence fails, the crisis gets out of control, and a dictator feels he can no longer back down without losing face. The essence of the Taiwan issue is not an internal dispute between Chinese people. It is whether free societies can resist the expansion of communist totalitarianism. The CCP's so-called unification is not normal unification. It is putting 23 million Taiwan people into the CCP's party-state control system. It is not to liberate Taiwan, but to enslave Taiwan. Therefore, when observing 2027, we should not only look at warship and missile budgets and reports. We must look at the internal logic of the CCP system. When a regime loses economic legitimacy, refuses political reform, and pushes nationalism to the extreme, it will rely more and more on external conflict to maintain internal rule. This is the truly terrifying part of the Taiwan Strait crisis. So 2027 may not be the year of war, but it is likely the key threshold for full escalation of the Taiwan Strait crisis. Taiwan and the international community must never underestimate Xi Jinping's ambition to invade Taiwan. This is caused by the systematic structural pressure and internal crisis of the CCP system. The CCP is experiencing rapid population aging, a shrinking labor force, a comprehensive Western blockade on technology, and other crises. Its comprehensive national power has peaked. Xi Jinping may think if we don't fight now, it will be even harder to win later. This is his window anxiety. When this window about to close anxiety reaches its limit, that may be the moment Xi Jinping presses the war button. What do you think? Okay, please leave your comments, like, and share to activate the algorithm. Also, please subscribe to membership or donate on my website, jenniferzengblog.com, to support us spreading inconvenient truths. Thank you. Have a nice weekend and see you next time.